Okay, good. It's working. Fine. Okay, we have one more lady as well who has joined in today. I think it's Savita Auntie. Fiona and Briella, you're very popular. Okay, let's begin. Savita Auntie, please turn on your video so everyone can see you. Okay, maybe she'll turn it on later. Fine. Let's start with Namokar Mantra. Priyala will recite today. And Dia and Anya, you have to remember it because next time you will recite.
Namo Arihantaram, Namo Sitaram, Namo Aram,
Namo Ayariyanam, Namo
Uvajayaram, Namo Luesavasaham, Nam Isu Panchamo Yaro, Sava Bhavanatano, Mangalancha Savasi, Param Hui Mangalam, Paramam Hui Mangalam.
Very good. Okay, so we will now start again with the story that we learned last week. And then we will continue with the classes. Okay, so Dia and Anya, last week we learned a story about Neminath Bhagwan. Do you know who is Neminath Bhagwan? Dia and Anya, you can unmute yourself.
Tirthankar.
Yeah, he's a Tirthankar. And Fiona, what number Tirthankar?
The 22nd.
22nd Tirthankar. Well done. Okay, so he's the 22nd Tirthankar. Now, Neminath Bhagwan, Priyala, listen to it carefully because Fiona knows most of it. You know most of it, but you forget sometimes. Okay, so fine. Like try to listen to it carefully. So Neminath Bhagwan was Sri Krishna's cousin. And Sri Krishna, everybody knows Sri Krishna. I think we've all seen pictures about him on the internet. He's got blue skin and he has got a feather on his crown. He's got a peacock feather on his crown. Isn't it true, Dia and Anya? Right, yeah. So, okay, so yeah, so he has a peacock feather on his crown. Now, he had a cousin called Neminath. Neminath was also very, very popular. He was extremely popular because you see, he was going to be a Tirthankar. And because he was going to be a Tirthankar, he was very, very strong. You know, when they are born, they're extremely strong. I mean, how can we give an example? Say, for example, there's Mount Everest. Yeah, just 1 minute, Fiona. Say, for example, there's Mount Everest. So somebody who can lift Mount Everest with the little finger, can you imagine how strong they'll be? So Neminath Bhagwan was that strong. He was extremely intelligent. Not just intelligent, but you see, if he had to participate in, say, for example, a contest, maybe he would come first in the universe, not in the world. So he was extremely intelligent, he was extremely strong, and he was extremely wise as well. He did not misuse his powers. He did not go out for external objects, or he did not go to use his money or fame to buy external objects. Rather, he was always interested in the soul. Dia and Anya, like within this body, there's a soul that is called Atma. And in Atma, there is infinite happiness. There's so much happiness. Can you imagine, like, infinite means that it's 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 1,000 times, million times, 10 million times 10 million, yet it is not enough. So he was extremely he was extremely strong, he was extremely wise, and he was always interested in the soul. He was never interested in obtaining external objects. So what happened one day, they all went to the riverbank in like spring season. In Kenya, we have spring usually in about maybe is it April? No, it's not really April. It's maybe August is it might be called spring, and in Europe it is in April. So they went out near the riverbank and everyone was enjoying. Now, Neminath Bhagwan asked, he was a prince at that time, he asked Krishna's wife, Rukmini, to wash his clothes for him. Now, Rukmini, obviously, being Rukmini, because you see, she was Sri Krishna's wife. She's like, why should I wash your clothes? I am Sri Krishna's wife. So they had a little bit of ego in them. And naturally they would, because they had very high positions. So Sri Krishna was also of like similar nature. He was a bit jealous of Neminath. And he was afraid that, you see, if Neminath Bhagwan becomes king, he'll become more popular than me. Neminath was going to get married to a lady called Rajun. He was going to get married to a lady called Rajun. Now, what happened was the whole Bharat, you know how we see like in Kenya and like maybe in other parts of the world, we see like a whole procession where everyone is singing, dancing, going towards, the hall where the marriage will take place. So everyone is singing and dancing and everyone is enjoying. And Sri Krishna deliberately, on purpose, he placed many animals on the road. And because, and like Neminath, so these animals are crying because they were caged. He felt so bad. He felt bad because he saw these animals crying and he thought maybe these animals are going to be cooked for my marriage. And he could feel the pain of these animals. He also understood that this is a trick of Krishna. You see, he was very smart. He could even know, he knew the past, present, and future. Because he wasn't an ordinary person. But even after knowing that this is just a trick by Krishna, he did not feel bad about it. And instead, what he did, he became a monk. He became a Digambar monk. He removed all his clothes. He removed his hair. Like, back in the day, like men did not have short hair like how we see today. Men used to have very, very long hair. So can you imagine how painful it will be when you pluck hair from the scalp? But you see, his entire vision was always to be within the soul. He was always very, very, had this strong desire to be within the soul, which is within himself. And he did a lot of penance. He lived for about 700 years, of which, wait, I might be mistaken there, but maybe it like might be more. But according to my understanding, it was 700 years, but I will check again. So he lived a very long life. And out of that, approximately 300 years, he was a monk. And he spent it in the forest. He always used to meditate. He did not eat. And even if he ate, it was very little, and it was like maybe once in a month, maybe once in 2 weeks, something like that. Eventually, he became Bhagwan because now all his karma began to fall back to the ground and he moved upwards towards Siddhale. Because now he's a Siddh Bhagwan. Siddh Bhagwan means that one who does not have a body anymore. You see, we have this body today, and tomorrow we die. And then again, we get a new body. And this new body we get might be, today I'm a female, so the next body might be of a male. Or it might be a body of an animal. Or it might be a body of a heavenly being. Or it might be a body of a hellish being. So you see, the body keeps on changing, but the soul remains the same. Now, how lucky is Neminath Bhagwan? Now he does not get any body. He's the luckiest person because now he only gets to experience happiness. Because what happens when we get a body, imagine now I've got a body of a female. So I will start to think like a female. I have to do this, like I have to do that. Now in my next birth, I get a body of a male. So I start to think like that. Every time my thought process changes according to the body I get. So there's no real happiness. We are always changing and changing and changing. And, you know, imagine in this life, if I'm a successful lawyer, just example. Then once I die, again, I start from zero. I start to learn A, B, C, D. Again, I'm starting from zero. But can you imagine in Siddhale, in like Siddhale, now there is no more learning. There's just infinite knowledge, infinite happiness, infinite bliss. Bliss means happiness. And it is in a large, large, large quantity. So this is the story of Neminath Bhagwan in the current life. So we will only stop here today because the new girls might get confused about his past life. So Dia and Anya, you have to remember this story, and even Briella, because the three of you will now recite it in the next class. Right? Okay, so now we can start with the books.
Can you please give me permissions to share?
Hear me.
Komal Ben, can you give me permissions to share, please?
Sorry, I have a flu. Okay, I'll just give you permission 1 second. Okay. Fine. Okay, so Dia and Anya, we are doing these books called Bal Bodh. Now, Bal means children, and Bodh means knowledge. So you will. So the meaning of Bal Bodh is that you're getting knowledge since a young age. That you're getting knowledge, and there are many books. So Briella and Fiona have finished with book 1, and now we are on book number 2 in lesson number 5. So so fine, let's start to read. Who wants to be son? Briella will be son. Anya, do you want to be father? No? Okay, no problem. How about Dia? Do you want to be father? Yes, okay, fine. Okay, so Briella starts to read.
Father, today I heard
In the
temple that our soul experienced extreme
miseries
in the 4
phases
of life. What are the 4 phases of life?
wherein
Where are only miseries and
misfortunes. Okay, Father, today I heard in the temple that our soul experienced extreme miseries. Miseries means sorrow, pain, stress, anything like worry, tension, extreme miseries in the 4 phases of life. So who remembers what are the 4 phases? Vishal, what are the 4 phases of life? Fiona, you can answer.
Okay.
Animals like Swarg, Nar, and men.
Okay. Dia, what are the 4 phases of life? Unmute yourself. It's okay if you can't remember. Just remember what you can. Animal. Speak loudly. Repeat after me. Animal.
Animal.
Human.
Human.
Hellish being.
Hellish being.
And heavenly being.
Heavenly being.
Well done. That was very good. Okay, so now start to read the father's part.
So life, means a particular state of being. In this world, living creatures are found in the four phases of life. When this being
Recognizes.
recognizes one's soul and exerts to attain it, he is freed from the miseries of all the four phases of life and obtains the immortal phase of the Supreme Being. This is called the fifth phase of life.
Repeat, what are the four phases of life?
Animal, human being, hellish being, and heavenly being.
Wow, you remember. So the fifth phase of life is what, Fiana?
Moksha.
Up there? Moksha. Yeah, well done. So it is called Siddhali. Moksha. Very good. Okay. So what are these four phases of life? Okay. So, sorry, Briella, read.
What are the four phases of life?
Father,
Man, animal, resistance of hell,
residents. Residents means people who live in hell.
residents of hell, and the gods that is heavenly being.
Heavenly beings. Okay. Are we not men? We are in the human phase of life, and so we are called men. That way, all of us are living beings. When any living being, when any living creature is born in the human phase of life, that is, when he obtains the human form, he is called a man. So all of us have a human phase of life. So we are called humans. Humans are very intelligent because we don't have only the five senses. What are the five senses that we learn in school, Dia?
Sight,
Very good. Okay, let's start from here. Look, touch. Then the next one is taste, because we put food in the mouth. Next one is called nose. Next one is called eyes. Next one is called ears. Now, Dia, answer the what are the five senses?
touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing.
Okay, very good. And we have one more sense called the mind, because we have the ability to think and make decisions. So humans are very lucky. They've got 6 senses. And even animals are lucky because not all animals have got 6 senses. Some of them have got 6 senses. Heavenly beings and hellish beings both have 6 senses as well. Okay, son, continue to read.
Come on, Ben, there's a question. Fiana has a question.
Oh, sorry. Yes, ask.
It says here man, but I'm a girl and my mother is a woman. So why?
Yeah. Okay, man. I mean, it's just a term. It's just an umbrella term. How do I explain? It's just a word to describe human being. It's not saying about gender. It's not saying about men and women. I mean, yeah, that's a good question that you asked. It's not describing the gender. It's just collectively putting everyone in one category. Okay, son, read.
Read, Briella.
Well, so we are
Creatures.
creatures of human
Phase.
phase of life. To
Two.
what phase of life cows, buffaloes, horses,
Etc.
etc. belong
Do
to?
belong.
Who belong?
Father,
They are all animals. Earth, water, fire, air, vegetables, insects, elephants, horses, doves, peacocks, and other animals and birds that you see are all included in animal life. When one takes birth in this phase of life, one is called an animal.
so have you seen that they've divided into 2? Now, Look, they've divided into two. One is the earth, water, fire, and air, vegetables, insects. All of them don't have 5 senses. So earth, water, fire, and air only have 1 sense. Now, Anya, I want you to answer. Wait. So what sense have they got? What sense is this, Anya?
Touch.
Well done. So earth, water, fire, air, those 4 have only got 1 sense, which is only touch. So meaning to say their knowledge is just this much, it's only this much. But imagine Dia, Anya, Fiana, and Briella, your knowledge is so much more because you've got a human body. Now let's look at the next one. Elephants, horses, doves, peacocks, and birds, well, not all birds, but some birds, they have got 5 senses, meaning they've got as much knowledge as a human person. Now, that is a bit difficult to believe, isn't it? That birds, peacocks, elephants have got as much knowledge as we do. Let's listen to another story. So many years ago in Jaipur, Jaipur is a city. Have you gone there? Has anybody gone to Jaipur? Okay, Vishal has gone to Jaipur. So many years ago in Jaipur, there was a man called Total Marji. If you have seen that movie, Jodha Akbar, they even show him in that movie. He was an extremely intelligent man. He was so intelligent that Akbar used to keep him as a minister. And because he was so intelligent, he used to write a lot of Jain books. And he was so popular amongst the Jain community, not just Jain community, but also he was popular amongst all the scholars over there because he was extremely knowledgeable. Now, Akbar was very jealous of him because he wrote something in the Jain books that Akbar did not like. So what did he do? He asked an elephant, Anya, look here. So he asked an elephant to step on him. Now, look at the intelligence of this elephant. The elephant is refusing. He's like, no, I will not step on this man because he's a good man. Of course, he can't speak like you and me. And of course, he will not be able to, show it by words, but by his emotions, he was able to show it. So he was intelligent to realize that, look, Total Marji is a good man. I will not step on him. But because it was the orders of the king, Total Marji requested to the elephant, please step on me because you work for the emperor, the Akbar. And so unfortunately, the elephant had to step on him. So this story is to teach you that animals have also got intelligence. When we kill them, any 5 sense being, it could be chicken, it could be fish, it could be anything, it could be veal. I mean, everything what they describe as exotic. When we kill them, they've got the same intelligence as we have. And when they're killed, that's when they realize, they have got a lot of pain. So the next question you might have, then why do you eat vegetables? Even they have got senses, even they have got intelligence. But you are right. But they've got a lot less because vegetables only have 2 senses, touch and taste. Right? And some vegetables or some sort of greenery have only got 1 sense. So they're divided into 2 categories. So that is the reason why humans or animals consume like vegetarian food. So that is a valid reason for you to understand because we're talking about the 5 senses over here. Okay, let's move on. Dia and Anya, have you understood?
One more question.
Briella, yes. Fiana, ask.
How do the vegetables even taste?
Sorry, I didn't understand. Sorry.
How do some vegetables even taste?
Yeah, that's a good question you have. I'm not exactly sure, but they've got 2 senses. Meaning, yeah, Briella, just 1 second. Meaning to say that is the amount of intelligence they have. So have you seen these flowers? They're called touch me not. When there's too much of air or like maybe too much of sunlight, they start to go inside. So they can sense it, meaning to say they've got that intelligence in them.
And maybe they have the taste, they just can't express it because they cannot speak. So we would never know.
But
Yeah,
then how do
yeah.
people? Then how do you know right now? And the people that told you.
Very
So-
good, very good question there. So how do I know? Because Neminath Bhagwan told us and Mahavir Bhagwan told us, because both of them are gods, and because they're gods, they know everything. So because they know everything, they say Om, and then very intelligent men called Gandhar take everything in their mind. Now they don't write because even they're extremely intelligent as well. And then many years later, books started to get written. That's how you and I now know about it after 2,600 years after Mahavir Bhagwan, that this is how it is. So it is approximately 2,600 years. So this is how we know, you and I, that Dia and Anya, is that difficult to understand? Do you have any questions?
Who is Akbar?
Yeah, Akbar was a king. Akbar was a king. Like, have you heard about Queen Elizabeth? Yeah, so Akbar was a king like that many years ago, many years ago. Almost, let's say, about 350 years ago. He was a king, because Total Mirchi was born approximately 302 years ago. So Akbar was a ruler. He was ruling not just Jaipur, that's the name of the city, but he was ruling much more than that. And you see, he wanted his rule to continue. He did not want Total Mirchi to shine because he was intelligent. Okay, so now do you know who is Akbar? Have you got any more questions? You can ask. Until your doubt has been cleared, you can ask. Okay, no more questions. Okay, let's move on.
When all creatures escape
Except,
Just put it on the screen.
man,
no, hold on 1 second. Yeah. Read.
when all creatures except man are animals who are the residents of hell. Underneath this world of ours are 7 hells. The atmosphere therein
The atmosphere.
is very distressful. There is intense heat that burns the bodies of the hellish beings, and extreme cold that can melt their bodily frames. There are no food and drink there. Hellish creatures have to bear the suffering of terrible hunger and thirst.
Stop. Okay. Anya, it'll just take me 1 day to remember your names. Okay, so who is reading? Anya is reading, right? Raise your hand.
I'm Dia.
Okay, Dia is reading. So Anya, how many hells are there?
7.
Very good. Briella, are they enjoying in hell?
No,
No. Okay, so why aren't they enjoying in hell?
because they always get killed. When they're
Very-
born, they get killed. When they get born again, they get killed. When they're born again, they get killed. When
Okay.
they're born again,
Okay.
they get
Yes.
Not born, reformed.
Oh,
Yeah, Fiona is right. So what happens in hell, that the body is made out in like a different way. It's not like our body. If somebody pokes a knife in our body, we'll just die. But the body in the hell is different. The body is of the sort, if somebody pokes a knife, the body shatters. The body becomes into small pieces. Then again, the body joins. Then again, someone stabs them with a knife, or maybe throws them from the top of the mountain. So can you imagine the suffering they are having every single minute? The minute they think, oh, finally, now I've finished the suffering, he goes and drinks some water in the river. The river is full of thorns. The river is full of blood. He sees from far, it looks like water. And he goes to drink water over there. No, the water changes into blood. It becomes of thorns. Then all of a sudden he sees, okay, fine, I can sit next to a nice tree and take rest for a few minutes. No, the tree suddenly transforms into another hellish being who comes to kill him. So this is the amount of suffering they have in hell. It is saying that there are 7 hells. So in the first 3 hells is intense heat. It is so hot, it is even hotter than Mombasa. It is even hotter than the Sahara forest. The desert, the Sahara desert. So it is extremely, extremely hot. And then it is so cold in the next 4 hells that it is even colder than Iceland and Greenland. It is extremely, extremely, extremely cold. So this is what they're explaining to us. So I'll just finish reading the paragraph. There are passionate creatures always fighting with each other and killing one another. Creatures who take birth in such hells are called hellish beings. Okay, son, continue.
Why are gods? Beings are rewarded with such phases of life according to their inner feelings. There are phases where such beings are born according to their conduct in previous lives. Creatures with sinful conduct are born in hells. Likewise, those who possess holy feelings are born in the heavens. In these heavens, gods enjoy all sorts of pleasures. They are creatures of the heavenly phase of life.
Okay, in these heavens, gods enjoy all sorts of pleasures. Look, they have used a word called pleasures. They have not used the word happiness. This is very important for all of us to understand because we always forget. We think in heaven there's happiness and in hell there is unhappiness. Yes, in hell there is a lot of unhappiness. But in heaven, there are pleasures. Let us understand the nature of heaven. Now, what happens? There are different levels. Let's take an example. For example, in a company, there's a CEO, and then under him, there's a vice chairman. Under him, maybe there's a manager. Under him, maybe the people working. So there are phases. I mean, there are those steps, like in a company. So what happens, for example, if somebody is working under the manager, somebody, like a manager can like push him around and he can make him do as much work as the manager wants him to do. Now, on top of the manager is a vice president. Now, the vice president can take advantage of the manager. In the heaven, the same thing happens. There are different levels of heavenly beings. There are some of them who are born in like that low level. So like the bigger or like the heavenly being who has got more power will say, you turn into an elephant right now. Then they'll tell to another one, you turn into a large bird right now, and they have to do it. They have to follow orders. They are not given freedom. Although there is pleasure when you compare to maybe heaven, when you compare to earth, there are a lot more pleasures. But what happens is that even there is unhappiness in heaven as well, because there are orders to follow. They're always jealous of each other, because one heaven has got more things than the other one. One heavenly being has got more objects. One heavenly being might have more queens. He might have more women surrounding him. Then even they get jealous. One heavenly being might have more ornaments. Then they get jealous of him. So even in heaven, there are only pleasures. There is no happiness. So where is happiness, Fiona?
Go ahead, Fiona.
In your soul.
in your soul, because in the soul there's a virtue, there's a quality called happiness. So real happiness is only in the soul. It is not by being a human. It is not being in an animal form, not in a hellish form, or not even in a heavenly being. So you have to realize this, that happiness is not in heaven, or not in the human body, or not in the hellish being. And obviously it can't be in animals because we see it around us, that they're generally hungry or something or the other. Now, son, continue.
Which is the God?
Good.
Which is the good phase of life?
So which is the good phase of life? So which phase is better than the other? Father.
You have already been told that all the 4 phases of life are full of miseries and misfortunes. How can there be then a good phase of life? All 4 are worldly existence.
So that existence means that you are just living. You're just living. So I think that's easier word.
Living is the liberated souls reach the 5th phase of the supreme beings, which is the completely happy state of life.
So which is the 5th phase of life, Anya?
Supreme beings.
Yeah, which is what?
Siddha.
Okay, Siddh Bhagwan. Does Siddh Bhagwan have a body? I mean, like there are many Siddh Bhagwan. So do they have a body?
No.
Are they merging with one another, or are they living separately in Siddhalaya? Just try to think. It is quite simple.
Separate.
Very good. So you answered it in the first go. So each Siddha Bhagwan is living separately. So they do not join with each other. This is a very, very important point for you, for all of us to remember. Briella, remember that Siddha Bhagwan, one Siddha Bhagwan does not join with another and another and another and another. They do not become one big soul. Each soul is complete, and they do not join or merge with any of the other souls. Okay. Leaving these, the liberated souls reach the 5th phase of the supreme beings, which is the completely happy state of life. Son.
Really?
Why not call the human phase of good?
Life, human face of life.
Life
Good.
From this phase, one attains complete liberation of the soul from
Worldly
worldly
bondage.
Bondage means 2 or more beings being together.
If this was so, why did the Siddhas leave this also? The best thing is to shun the circle of births and deaths altogether.
Okay, so does that make sense? Does that make sense? It is asking a question. We are human, so is our life good? We've got a beautiful house, we've got nice cars, we have a nice garden, we like go to good schools. So is this a happy state of life? Dia and Anya, is this a happy stage of, I mean, is this like happiness? Are you like, do you experience happiness?
Yeah.
Good, very good. You know, it's good that you answered honestly. So, okay, now let's take an example. So you're saying you're happy. What is your favorite sweet? Is it ice cream or is it chocolate? What do you like?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. And like what flavor? Chocolate flavor ice cream. Okay, fine. So imagine if I was to offer you 1 cup of ice cream, will you be happy?
Will you be happy with 1 cup of ice cream?
Yes.
Very good. Now you've eaten it. Now I'm offering you 2 more cups. Remember, you've already eaten 1. I'm offering you 2 more cups of ice cream. Will you be happy?
More than happy.
Sorry? I can't hear you.
More than happy.
More than happy. Very good. Okay, now we've eaten 3 cups of ice cream. Now I'm offering you another 4 cups of ice cream. You have eaten 3. I'm giving you another 4 cups of ice cream to it. Will you be happy?
No.
No. Now you will not be happy. So imagine it is your favorite sweet, yet you will not be happy after eating 7 cups. Now let's ask Briella. Briella, what do you like to read?
What do you like to read?
Read.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Say it.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you like to play? Maybe, or I don't know.
Okay, what is your favorite game?
What is your favorite game?
My favorite game is Merge Dragons.
Merge Dragons.
Okay, so now imagine if I asked you to play for 2 hours, will you be happy?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm asking Briella, you have to play the whole night. Will you be happy?
No.
No. Okay, so this is the reason why none of us are happy. We want to change activities all the time. If I have slept for 7 hours, now if you ask me to sleep for 10 hours, I will not be happy. Now I'll say, no, I want to wake up and I want to start to brush my teeth. Imagine if somebody brushes their teeth for 1 full hour, will they be happy? No, they will not be happy. Instead, they will get irritated. After that, now someone asks them to take a bath for 2 hours. Will they be happy? No, they will not be happy. So, we just want to constantly change activities. Somebody invites us for lunch at their house. We go for lunch and they keep on adding food to our plate. Will we be happy? We were so hungry before lunch that, oh, I'm starving, I want to eat quickly. But the minute they start forcing us to eat, will we be happy? No. So there's no happiness. We're always changing activities to become happy, or we think by changing activities we'll be happy. Because we want to find happiness in the body. But the reality is that the soul has got happiness. So we will understand what is a soul. Okay, son, when is it desirable?
Read. When
When it is
desirable
not to move in this circle of birth and death, why does this creature wander in
these
these
phases.
phases of life?
Okay. So it is asking us that shouldn't we leave the circle of life and death? Why are we still moving from one body to another? Father.
When one commits a sin, one has to bear the
Consequences. This means if I have done something good, I will get something good in return. If I've done a bad thing, if I've done a sin, if I've committed a crime, a fraud, I will also bear something in return. So let me ask you a question, Dia and Anya. If you plant a mango tree, what will grow?
mangoes.
Okay, Briella, if you plant maybe like a spinach plant, like what will grow?
Spinach.
Okay, so when you plant a spinach plant, Fiana, will mangoes grow?
No.
No. So when you commit, yes, because it is different. So when you commit a sin, you can't expect to get rewarded. So this is what it is trying to tell us. Dia and Anya, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Briella, is it clear to you? Because I think Fiona has understood.
It's clear.
Son, read.
Son. What's
Briella.
What sins lead to
different
different phases
wherein
wherein one is born? Too much
Entanglement,
entanglement is worldly
possessions,
possessions is such an evil that one has to take birth in hell.
deceitful,
And
fraudulent,
fraudulent feelings lead one to animal life.
Okay, stop. So it is explaining to us, if we do something good, we get good. If we do something bad, we get bad in return. So, son, what about human and godly phases of life? So here it is saying to us in short that humans and godly phases are like obtained by such souls who have done mostly good in their life. Ordinary entanglement and attachment in worldly possessions, the words are quite difficult. Let's just get the gist of it. You can just scroll down. Okay, so basically what this paragraph is trying to say that humans, who becomes a human and a godly person, meaning heavenly person, somebody who has less attachment, somebody who has done less crime and less bad deeds. Son. Okay, move on. If all the other tendencies are false, what is the faultless, meaning where there's no fault at all in our being? Where there's just no fault, where there's no crime, where there's no sin. So what is that state? The attitude of complete detachment is the faultless state, and that leads to complete liberation of the soul. So the attitude, meaning the thinking. So our thoughts, if I think good things, I will do good actions. If I have bad thoughts, I will do bad actions. So if I have a thought that I want to be completely detached, and that is faultless, and that leads to the liberation of soul, which is called moksha. Okay, son, what is the good of knowing all this? We know that all four phases of life are full of miseries, not happiness. Our good as well as bad tendencies, so our good habits and bad habits are the reason that we go in circles of life and death. Complete detachment is the only way. So moksha is the only way where we can be happy. To achieve this state, we must follow the knowing of our soul. Okay, now there are questions which will be your homework. Vishal, what is the time? Because it's not showing on my screen.
It's there's only 10 more minutes left before we finish.
Fine, no problem. So fine, let's not start a new class. Let's just go over one more story. Okay, Dia and Anya, very good singers. Like, would you like to sing a song? Maybe both of you can sing one by one, and then Fiona and Briella will also teach you the song they know. Okay, as you like prepare yourselves, Fiona and Briella can sing a song. Sing Vijnana Anand Swarupi Ho.
Yeah. Join your hands. Okay.
Can I sing?
Both of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Ready?
May
Jnananand Swabhavi hu
May
Jnananand Swabhavi hu मैं हूँ अपने में स्वयं पूर्ण तरक्की
Very good. So, Diya and Anya, what this means is May Gyan Anand Swarupi ho. Gyan means knowledge. Anand means happiness. So Gyan, so who am I? I am a soul. So May Gyan Anand Swarupi ho, Swabhavi ho. So it is saying that I am filled with Gyan and with Anand. I'm filled with knowledge and happiness. May Gyanananda Swabhavi hu, May Gyanananda Swabhavi hu. Then the next line, May hu apne mein swayam apurna. So I'd asked you a question, do these souls in the Siddhale, in Moksha, do they merge with one another? And you said, no, they don't. Because the reason is that each soul is complete. Me hu apane mein swayam apurna. I am complete in myself. मैं हूँ अपने में स्वयं अपूर्ण पर कि मुझे में कुछ गंध नहीं. So I do not have anything from outside. I am complete in my own self. So we will only learn these two lines today. Okay, Diya and Anya, you can sing as well.
Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat.
Also sing the song that you sang for the Jane's Got Talent.
हे प्रभु चरणों में तेरे आ गए. हे प्रभु चरणों में तेरे आ गए. भावना अपनी कफल हम पा गए. भावना अपनी कफल हम पा गए. हे प्रभु चरणों में तेरे आ गए. हे प्रभु चरणों में तेरे आ गए.
Very good. Okay, so now you have homework. Diya and Anya, you have to answer the 5 questions what we did in the class today in the book. I will send the book to your mom online. And also for Fiona and Briella, you also have got homework of the 5 questions. These 5 questions is like what you're supposed to answer. So you don't have much homework, and you have to learn the song that Briella and Fiona are singing. So you've got enough time. Are you now on holidays or have you still got school?
We have exams coming up.
Oh, you've got exams coming up. Okay, no problem. When do you close school?
15th of July.
Okay, fine. Okay, no problem. So if you've got exams coming up, you only do these 5 questions. You don't learn the song for now. Okay? Okay, fine. So you did very well today. Did you enjoy and did you learn something new today?
Yes.
How about you, Anya?
Yes.
Okay, and Diya, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So fine, let's meet on next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. That is Kenyan time, 7 o'clock. And Fiona and Briella, so you continue to learn this song. I'm just going to stop live.